Dear students, today we are going to look at some of the sympathetic and parasympathetic effects on different organs in the body. The organs include the eye, the salivary gland, the heart, the bronchi. This is the airway structures. Okay, the structures of the airway, we have the trachea, the bronchi, and the lungs. Okay, but we are basically going to talk on the effects on bronchi. Then we have the stomach, the liver, and pancreas. We are going to discuss on the liver and stomach. Then we have urinary bladder. So these are the sympathetic effects on these organs. Then these are the parasympathetic effects. Okay, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic effects most times are opposite in function. In the last video, I told you that the sympathetic is the one that controls your body at the point of emergency. Okay, maybe you are playing football, for example. You know how your body mechanism respond to exercise. So all these are the sympathetic effects. Then the parasympathetic is the one that controls your body mechanism at the point of rest or at the point of comfort. For example, when you are sleeping, how your body responds to sleeping, and its parasympathetic effects. So now we are going to look at the breathing rate. When you are playing football, okay, at a point the oxygen in the body mechanism decreases because the rate of breathing reduces at the point you are running. Okay, then after running, do you understand? Now the breathing rate here will accelerate. You start to breathe fast and fast because you have excess lactic acid being accumulated in the muscle and in the tissues. So you need more oxygen to break it down, neutralize the lactic acid in the muscle to produce energy in form of adenosine triphosphate. So the breathing rate increases. Okay, that is the sympathetic effect. Sympathetic effect increases or accelerates the breathing rate. Okay, then the parasympathetic, on the other hand, when you are sleeping, for example, as I told you before, it slows the rate of breathing. Okay, you can say it slows the breathing rate. Okay, the next is the eye. Look at the eye. This is the eyeball. This is the eye. At the point of danger or at the point of emergency, your eyes open quickly. That is how your body responds to emergency. Okay, when your eye opens at the point of emergency, this is the pupil. As the eyes open at the point of emergency, the iris will go backward. The iris will move backward. This is the iris. It will move backward. So when the iris moves backward, that means the pupil here dilates. The pupil will dilate. You understand? Then as the pupil dilates, the iris comes together, and that is constriction. Okay? At the point of emergency, that is sympathetic effects, constrict the iris and dilate the pupil. Okay? It constricts the iris and dilate the pupil. Okay? While the parasympathetic, at the other hand, dilate the iris and constrict the pupil. So these are the effects on the eye. The next is salivary gland. Okay? When you are playing football, as I used to describe the sympathetic at the point of stress, okay, your mouth will go dry. Okay? Because sympathetic stops the secretion of saliva. Because sympathetic inhibits digestion of food. It stops everything that has to do with food in the stomach. Okay, it inhibits or stops food digestion. Okay, while the parasympathetic supports digestion and it stimulates the secretion of saliva. Okay, When you wake up in the morning, you notice sometimes that you have some salivas in the mouth. You have to spit them out off and on everywhere. You have to spit. You get that is the parasympathetic effect on the body. But when you are playing football, when you are running, your mouth always goes dry, and that is the sympathetic effect. Okay. The other one is the heart. When you are playing football, also under sympathetic, your heartbeat will increase because I told you when you are playing or when you are running, lactic acid are produced because of hypoxia, decrease in oxygen concentration in the blood. Okay, so the glucose are now converted to pyruvic acid under anaerobic respiration. The pyruvic acid is now converted to lactic acid, which are stored in the muscle. Okay, now this lactic acid now that accumulated in the muscle, when they becomes excess, it results to muscle fatigue or muscle cramp, and that will send signals to the brain. Okay, brain will now increase the breathing rate so that as you're taking more oxygen are coming inside, the bronchi will dilate so that the air coming in will not encounter any disturbance. Okay, as you're taking in the oxygen, the rate of diffusion in the lungs will increase. Okay, as you're taking oxygen, you're taking out carbon dioxide. Then the breathing rate, the heartbeat will now increase so as to meet up with the oxygen demand by these cells to convert the lactic acid stored in the cells to pyruvic acid, and to convert the pyruvic acid to this carbon dioxide, water, and 36 ATP of Krebs cycle. Okay, so here the heartbeat reduces when you are sleeping. That is parasympathetic. It slows the rate of heartbeat. Okay, while the sympathetic increases the heartbeat. Okay, the next here is the bronchi. I've said this before. When you are playing football under sympathetic, the bronchi will dilate so that the air you are breathing in will not encounter any disturbance. Okay, then under the parasympathetic, when you are sleeping, the bronchi is constantly constricted. Okay, because the breathing rate is reduced. Okay, then the next here is the stomach. What happens when the food comes inside? Okay, from the stomach we have some digestive enzymes that facilitate food digestion in the body. Okay, so there will be secretion of gastric juice that support digestion in the stomach. Then liver will secrete bile. Okay, so here the parasympathetic stimulates digestion, absorption, and bile secretion. Okay, when food gets into the GI tract, the parasympathetic supports digestion, absorption, and bile secretion. Okay, when you are playing, here don't support digestion, don't support absorption, and as such, don't support bile secretion. Like I told you before, the two are opposite in function: the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay, the next here is urinary bladder. Let's take a look here. This is the bladder. This is ring of muscle. This is the carpus gland of respiratory system. Then this is the testis, the epididymis, the vertebrates. This is urinary sphincter, and this is the bladder. This is the testis. This is the scrotum. Okay, this is the penis. This is the urethra. Okay. Now, when the bladder is full, bladder stores urine temporarily. Okay. When the bladder is full, for example, under the sympathetic, you find it hard to pass out urine. Under the sympathetic effects, you find it very, very difficult to pass out urine because the sympathetic constrict the urinary sphincter. This is sphincter. This is urinary bladder, and urinary muscle. Okay, muscle and bladder is almost the same. Now, when the sympathetic constricts the the sphincter, the bladder is still open because urine are not going out. Okay, under the sympathetic effect, the urinary sphincter is constricted, urine is not leaving. Okay, now that means this bladder here is relaxed, is dilated. Okay, so sympathetic effect constricts the urinary sphincter and dilates or relaxes urinary muscle and urinary bladder. Then parasympathetic, remember when you are still too tender as a kid, when you are sleeping, you normally pass out urine easily without knowing. Okay, because the parasympathetic here relaxes the urinary sphincter, it relaxes the sphincter, then constricts the urinary bladder and urinary muscle. This will constrict so as to pass out urine through the urethra. Okay, that is the parasympathetic effect. It constricts the urinary bladder and urinary muscle and dilates the urinary sphincter for urine to pass out. Okay, now here in the sympathetic, it constricts the urinary sphincter and relaxes the urinary muscle and the urinary bladder. Okay, so this is how the body mechanism responds to that. Of course, this is our brain, this is the brain, this is the front side. This is the front side of the brain that continues downward and the spinal cord, which runs down the vertebral column, and this is the terminal end of the spinal cord known as conus medullaris. Okay, this is all we have for you today. Thank you and God bless you. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Bye bye.